rumor that have been going on about my relationship status. Let me make it clear to you all. I'm not gay.
Rick Dixon goes to the guest bedroom. He's tired. He's been drinking. He's ready to get some sleep. He says he lays down. And at some point, Tyler Perry comes into his room, slips into the bed behind him, and start rubbing the inside of his thigh.
For years, folks laughed off Dr. Umar Johnson and Katt Williams like they were just running their mouths, loud, dramatic, maybe even jealous. But now, their warnings are hitting way too close to home.
He says one day Tyler Perry comes into his trailer, grabs him violently by the neck, grabs his...
We're talking shady behind-the-scenes deals, alleged mistreatment on set, and both of them been calling out Tyler Perry by name. They've been telling people that his rise to fame might not be as squeaky clean as it looks.
Billionaire. He's a billionaire. Why are you hanging around? He says Tyler Perry coerced him on.
And now, with a major lawsuit pulling the curtain back, Tyler's not just uncomfortable, he's in full-blown damage control. So what exactly did Dr. Umar and Katt say? Let's break it down. Tyler Perry's been seen for years as that powerhouse mogul, the billionaire who started from scratch, built his own empire, and launched a studio even bigger than Warner Bros. He's been praised for giving opportunities to black actors who Hollywood often ignored. But behind that polished image, expensive suits, and feel-good success stories, there's a whole other side. Dr. Umar Johnson and Katt Williams been saying it loud and clear that something way darker is going on. And now this lawsuit, it's confirming the very stuff they've been shouting for years. The public's finally starting to pay attention, and the spotlight's getting hotter. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, Perry's sexuality. He's never publicly opened up about it, even though people have been speculating for decades. Every time someone brings it up, he shuts it down, telling interviewers his private life ain't nobody's business. But here's where it gets messy. When he turned Medea into a billion-dollar brand, made it a household name, critics argue he did make it everyone's business. And both Dr. Umar and Katt Williams are calling him out hard.
Tyler Perry coerced him, Art. Coerced him into accepting the exploitation because Tyler Perry promised him his own show.
Now add in another twist. Perry's also catching heat over one of the most savage shows in animation history, the Boondocks. That show didn't hold back, and now folks are dragging him back into controversy all over again. The Boondocks is still one of the most iconic animated shows in black culture, period. Even though it wrapped up back in 2014, people still can't stop talking about it. Why? Because it tackled heavy topics with zero filter and never backed down from controversy. Just recently, a Twitter thread blew up after someone revisited one of the most talked about episodes ever, Pause. This one aired in June 2010, right in the middle of season 3, and it took direct aim at none other than Tyler Perry. This episode didn't just clown Perry's over-the-top movie style, it went way deeper. Word is, Perry and his inner circle were not happy about it, and it's easy to see why. The episode didn't just throw shade on his work, it also heavily implied that he was secretly gay and using his religion as a front for fame and fortune. In Pause, creator Aaron Magruder and his crew didn't hold back. They gave Perry a fictional alter ego, Winston Jerome, and turned Medea into something way darker.
And so I put on a dress and a wig, and Jesus was...
Winston Jerome was portrayed as a cult-like Hollywood figure who used spiritual talk and emotional manipulation to control the people around him. And yeah, it was wild. The name Pause itself was a jab at that street slang used to clear up any sus double meanings. Like when someone says something questionable, they'll throw in pause or no homo to keep things straight. But in this case, the episode flipped that on its head, aiming that coded language straight at Perry. They painted Jerome as someone who constantly dropped Jesus' name while isolating his cast and crew, making them cut off their friends and family like he was running a full-blown cult. People watching were shook. Some fans even said the episode might have been revealing something way more serious underneath the laughs. This one episode had folks questioning Perry's entire image, and it sparked a storm that's still buzzing today. In the Boondocks episode, things took a wild turn when Jesus himself was shown giving advice to the Perry-inspired character about what kind of women appeal to audiences, and even seeming to co-sign some seductive behavior. In the fictional storyline, the character based on Tyler Perry is writing a play, but by the end of the episode, all the holy talk gets flipped on its head.
I found them, my shirtless men, and Jesus was pleased.
Jerome, the parody version of Perry, completely drops his polished church boy act and bluntly asks Granddad to sleep with him. No sugarcoating it. He says, "Look, man, all BS aside, can I please just have some A?" And Granddad's reaction, straight up disbelief. He fires back, "Do you mean to tell me that this whole cross-dressing Christian cult crap is just so you can sleep with men?" Jerome responds casually, Pretty much, yeah." The boldness of it had folks gasping. Greg Braxton from the Los Angeles Times didn't hold back either. He called Pause one of the strongest public takedowns of Tyler Perry ever. He even grouped it with criticisms made by big names like Spike Lee, who's also called out Perry's work in the past. But things really started heating up again when Christian Keys, star and creator of All the Queen's Men, went live on Instagram and dropped some serious tea. For nearly an hour, he opened up about facing sexual abuse in Hollywood. He didn't say any names directly, but he made it clear that the person who hurt him had a lot of power.
It got at the same time this person was sexually seeing me for years, claiming, that he had multiple young black men on the payroll.
And liked to hire young black men for his projects. Keys said he used to look up to this man, thought he was a mentor, but ended up being deeply hurt by him. He also said it was painful to see the world celebrating someone who treated him so badly behind closed doors. Even though he never said the name, people were quick to connect the dots, and the internet lit up. Tyler Perry didn't say a word about the abuse claims, not one. The only thing he spoke on, shutting down the rumors about being gay, that's it. No comment on Christian Keys, no response to the serious allegations, just brushing off the gossip and ignoring the real issue entirely. Then came December 16th. Christian Keys posted a video that sent shockwaves through the internet. He never said any names, but honestly, he didn't need to. In the clip, he said he was abused by a powerful man in the industry, someone he admired, someone he once considered a brother and a mentor. Right away, fans started making connections, and the name that kept popping up was Tyler Perry. Keys had always spoken highly of Tyler before, called him a mentor, gave him credit for opening doors. That's why when he suddenly accused an unnamed mentor of serious abuse, it hit different. Even more chilling, he said he already had everything documented. "Several family members and my attorney have the proof," he said. "If anything happens to me, that information will come out." That line shook people. The reaction was immediate. Fans rushed Perry's social media demanding answers. Accusations spread like wildfire. And for once, Perry broke his usual silence and responded, but not about the abuse. He only denied the sexuality rumors, called it all lies.
Rumor that have been going on about my relationship status. Let me make it clear to you all. I'm not gay. For those of you spreading rumor Jalla Kelly because you find out I'm gay, that's a big lie.
But here's the thing. Christian wasn't talking about sexuality. He was talking about power, manipulation, abuse, and the fact that the conversation got spun into tabloid gossip only made people more suspicious. All of this unfolded while Diddy's legal battle was already blowing the lid off the entertainment world. NDAs, forced silence, intimidation tactics. Christian's video wasn't some isolated outburst. It lined up exactly with what Cassie had described in her lawsuit against Diddy. This ain't just drama, it's a pattern, and now it's finally coming to light, clear as day. What makes all of this even harder to brush off is that people like Dr. Umar Johnson were calling it out years ago, in cartoon form. But this ain't about outing anyone, it's about exposing patterns that have been hiding in plain sight. From Umar's point of view, this isn't new behavior. He's been warning folks about how Hollywood constantly chips away at black masculinity. And when it comes to that, Tyler Perry is Exhibit A. According to Dr. Umar, the industry loves to push black men into roles where they're soft, goofy, and super feminized, especially when those men are willing to play along.
He says one day Tyler Perry comes into his trailer, grabs him violently by the neck, grabs his...
But if you resist, if you try to stand firm or speak out, the system punishes you just like that. To Umar, Madea isn't just a funny grandma in a dress. He sees her as a weapon, part of a long game by Hollywood execs to turn strong black men into something more digestible, more safe, and less threatening to the mainstream. And then you got Katt Williams, arguably Tyler Perry's loudest and most unfiltered critic. Katt doesn't play polite, and he never holds back. His take, straightforward. Why would a man with that much money, power, and talent keep going back to the same tired, exaggerated character? We're talking about someone who claims to write about strength, struggle, and faith, but then throws on a fat suit and a wig just to get some cheap laughs. Katt's even hinted that Perry's silence about the rumors has nothing to do with privacy. It's about protecting the system that made him rich. Katt once said during a stand-up, "You don't have to say it, the role says it for you." In Katt's eyes, Perry's fame exploded once he leaned all the way into Medea, and that wasn't by chance. Both he and Umar believe Perry was chosen by Hollywood because he was willing to play that role, while more outspoken black creatives were labeled as difficult and slowly pushed out. Over time, people got used to Medea. First, it was fresh and funny. Then it became a throwback, something people grew up with. But now, folks are finally asking the same question Katt Williams and Dr. Umar been shouting for years. How did we end up with one of the most powerful black men in Hollywood being best known for dressing up as someone's grandma? It's not just about comedy anymore, it's about what that character represents. Dave Chappelle once dropped a deep quote that shook people. "Once you see their genuine faces, you won't be able to stand them. They're too diabolical to bear." He said the same system that Me Too exposed, that's the same monster he's been warning about. They hate the monster for how it messed with them. I hate it for how it feeds, he said. Cold, but real. And here's what's wild. Dave's one of the only comedians who's kept his voice sharp and unfiltered. He's not scared of anyone. Meanwhile, Kevin Hart told the world he wasn't about to wear a dress. He had boundaries. But then, boom, he pops up on SNL for his debut, wearing the exact thing he said he'd never do. Even Chappelle was shocked.
Is that I've really dreamt of doing, which is becoming a global brand and what I love to do and tell jokes. So I'm happy.
Kevin later spoke on it, saying he once felt the pressure and realized Hollywood, and maybe something even deeper, was trying to break him down. Some folks call it the industry, others hint at something darker, even name-dropping the Illuminati. He also dropped a cryptic comment that hinted at something darker behind the scenes, something most people missed.
Dress, man, I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't even wear no dress to be funny.
A small detail in the bigger picture, but still powerful. Then came that strange moment on the Kelly Clarkson show that had viewers squinting. While talking about doing lower-paying gigs for extra cash, Clarkson joked that sometimes people in power ask you to do things you'd never normally do. When she flipped it and said those people should step forward and explain themselves, everyone got quiet. Real quiet. Kevin Hart quickly jumped in during that Kelly Clarkson show moment saying, "It's an open dialogue, we can talk about anything," while putting his finger to his lips like a signal to hush things up. That small gesture didn't go unnoticed. It set off a wave of new speculation about what celebs are really allowed to say on live TV and what lines they better not cross. People started whispering, something strange is definitely going on behind the scenes. Then there's Tyler Perry's movie Acrimony, the film that had Twitter in full meltdown mode. It sparked endless debates. Some folks blasted Perry for always showing black women stuck in toxic relationships and emotional chaos. Others defended him, saying he's just telling the real stories many black women face. Either way, the reactions were loud and divided. What it really shows is just how much power Perry has when it comes to shaping narratives in black media. His stories get people talking. But critics say it's time to stop just clapping for the positive and start looking closer at the patterns. They argue his work often paints black women in a harsh light, either as angry, broken, or hopeless, until they fit into some strict mold of what's acceptable. A lot of people have pointed out that Perry's stories push this outdated idea that being polite, proper, and following society's rules is the only path to happiness. That's what they call respectability politics.
Manage it, grow it, through all the growing pains of it all. You've managed to do it all on your own, figuring it out and learning as you've gone, calling me a lot.
And some say Perry leans on it way too hard. But it's not just actors raising eyebrows. Black comedians have spoken up too. Over the years, plenty of them have used cross-dressing in skits to get laughs. The shock factor comes from the contrast. Tough, bold personalities suddenly walking out in heels and wigs. And guess what? Some of those same comedians now say they felt pressured into doing it, that the laughs came with the cost and it wasn't always worth it. Yeah, cross-dressing in comedy can get laughs, but let's not pretend it doesn't come with a deeper message. Like Dave Chappelle once pointed out, this ain't just about jokes, it's about what's behind the laughs.
But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear dresses.
During a memorable appearance on Oprah's show, Chappelle dropped a heavy question. Why is it that so many successful black male entertainers have ended up in dresses at some point in their careers? Think about it. Martin Lawrence made a whole movie series out of it with Big Mama's House. Eddie Murphy played multiple female characters in The Nutty Professor and Norbit. These weren't one-off roles. They were major box office hits.
This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here.
But one name stands out above the rest when it comes to cross-dressing on screen: Tyler Perry. Perry didn't just dabble in it, he built an empire around it. Medea became a billion-dollar brand. And what makes it even more complicated is that Perry didn't just conquer entertainment, he made major waves in right-wing evangelical spaces too.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Are you going out on Black Friday?
What the hell is Black Friday? Every Friday is Friday. I'm black. That's a Black Friday. What you talking about?
That combo gave him an influence most entertainers only dream of. He started in gospel plays, won over church crowds, then flipped that success into a full-on film takeover. Tyler Perry Studios is now one of the biggest in the game, and his portrayal of Medea has reached millions.
No, it's a stage play. It's like Broadway, just with black people.
Even his book, Don't Make a Black Woman Take Off Her Earrings, landed on the New York Times bestsellers list. That's how deep the Medea effect runs. But all of this leads to a bigger, more uncomfortable question. Why is this the lane so many black male entertainers are pushed into? Why do these roles, ones that flip traditional masculinity upside down, keep popping up for the most successful black men in comedy? Is it truly choice, or is it part of something scripted behind the scenes? Why is it that audiences love seeing black men in these roles, dressed up, acting overly feminine, and turned into punchlines? One theory is that showing black masculinity in a softer, more harmless way makes certain people feel more comfortable. It tones down the strong, dominant image often tied to hip-hop and street culture, and Hollywood knows exactly how to package that for mass appeal. But let's keep it real. Hollywood has a long history of pushing harmful stereotypes. For decades, black actors had limited options, often forced to take whatever role kept them on screen, even if that meant reinforcing tired caricatures. Whether it was the thug, the servant, or the man in a dress, survival in the industry came at a cost. Today, while we've made some progress, full equality still ain't here. But the game has changed enough that more black performers have some say in what roles they take. And yet, some still choose the cross-dressing route. Kevin Hart once said he had boundaries, but then played into that very same role he swore off. Now folks are starting to speak up. Many believe this whole black man in a dress trend has gone too far. It's oversaturated.
That can possibly affect your brand. Your brand can be diminished, and you don't want that to happen. So, protecting my brand is definitely a priority.
Some feel like society is already pushing enough pressures that weaken how black men are viewed, and this trend is just another jab at their image. What used to be just comedy is now being questioned. People are asking, why does it keep happening? Why is this still such a go-to move for laughs?
I was like, no, I'm gonna look stupid. At the end of the day, you gotta know that you're a brand.
And just as that debate heats up, boom! A new lawsuit pops up, pulling back the curtain on Tyler Perry's hiring practices. Suddenly, it's not just about screen roles, it's about real power behind the scenes. And who's really benefiting versus who's being used. And now the rumors of manipulation swirling around Tyler Perry are getting louder, way louder. This isn't just about what he wears on camera, it's about why he's been allowed to wear it for so long without anyone daring to question it. Because if you listen to Dr. Umar and Katt Williams, they're not just talking about a man in a dress, they're talking about submission. They're pointing to the pressure black men face to play along in an industry that was never built for them to win, unless they play the game their way. Perry's name has been tangled in controversy for years, But now it's reaching a whole new level. Some artists have already come forward saying he doesn't actually lift up other black creatives the way he claims, but this latest allegation, it's serious. Actor Derek Dixon is suing Perry for a jaw-dropping $260 million. He's accusing Perry of SA and says he was punished for speaking up. According to the lawsuit, it all started in November 2019 when Perry gave Dixon a small part on the show Ruthless. Then, in January 2020, things took a disturbing turn. Dixon claims that Perry assaulted him at his own home. A month later, Perry offered him a recurring role on The Oval. But Dixon says things got weird quick. He read the script for his new character, Dale, and noticed something suspicious. The storyline didn't make it clear if Dale was sticking around. Then, according to the lawsuit, Perry told him straight up if he didn't flirt back or play along, his character would get killed off. And guess what? By the end of season 1, Dale was shot 4 times in the chest. Dixon believes that wasn't just a plot twist, that was a message, a punishment. He says maybe Dale would have survived if he had kept Perry satisfied, and it didn't stop there. In October 2020, during a cash trip to the Bahamas, Dixon claims Perry groped him again. And by December, things got even worse. Dixon says the emotional toll didn't stop after the show. He started suffering from insomnia, stomach issues, and constant anxiety. It got so bad, he had to see a doctor, who diagnosed him with high stress and put him on Zoloft, a medication for anxiety and depression. Then came June 2021. Perry allegedly invited Dixon back to his house again, saying he wanted to talk about Dixon's pilot show, Losing It, a project Perry once claimed he might produce. But according to Dixon, that meeting took a dark turn. He says Perry assaulted him again. Over the next 5 months, Dixon says he spiraled, battling heavy depression, panic attacks, stomach pain, and nausea that wouldn't go away. Eventually, doctors told him he was dealing with full-blown PTSD. Now, Perry's defenders still say he's a trailblazer, a man who broke barriers and created space for black stories to shine. But his critics, they say he played a role, literally and figuratively, to get past the Hollywood gatekeepers. And as these lawsuits stack up and old interviews from Dr. Umar and Katt Williams resurface, people are starting to ask the tough questions. Were these two trying to sound the alarm this whole time? Did we miss it because we were too busy laughing at the jokes, too distracted by Medea to see what was underneath the wig and the smile? Because now the spotlight's hitting harder than ever, and Tyler Perry's silence, it's getting real loud. Let us know what you think. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe the industry is finally being exposed, or is this all just noise? Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. We've got more deep dives on the way, so stay locked in, and we'll see you in the next one.